Steve Robbins here. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. Once upon a time, man lived happily with nature. And by man, of course, I mean man, woman, and transgendered. Man frolicked happily beneath palm trees, ate low-hanging fruit, and communed with the bunnies, the fishes, and the birds. To everything there was a season, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to reap, and a time when mail got delivered. One day, a young man, and by man, of course, I mean woman, named Pandora, received a box in the mail and opened it. Inside Pandora's box was an alarm clock, and in that moment innocence was lost, and the Industrial Revolution began. With clocks, seasons were out and minutes were in. To everything there was a minute. Man could schedule. Soon someone, and by someone I mean a pointy-haired boss, realized that with a clock, several people can come together at the same time in the same place. Together, working as one, they could procrastinate doing real work more efficiently than they ever could individually. The meeting was born, and soon became so popular that we needed to keep track of them all in one place. And thus, meetings begat the calendar, and man's downfall was complete. If you're a student, you probably still retain some of that hopeful, childlike innocence of the time before calendars. We'll beat that out of you shortly. The rest of us have already been turned into wage slaves by the advent of the calendar. There's no escaping it, but used correctly, the calendar can be an indispensable part of your tool chest. Here's how. Tip number 1 is commit to one central calendar. Because first, you need a calendar. Have a single calendar where you keep your master schedule. Every time you schedule something, add it to your calendar immediately. And that way, you'll be able to tell at a glance how much free time you have, what your upcoming obligations are, and who you might have to blow off if you get a better party invitation this Saturday night. Tip number 2, choose paper or electronic. Paper calendars often come in the form of a day timer or a day planner. They have the advantage of, well, being paper. I find paper is much easier to use than computers, because I can write more quickly, I can jot notes, draw pictures, and spend my efforts recording important information rather than scrolling, pinching, zooming, and mucking around with the software programs. Of course, you need to carry around a paper calendar, while an electronic calendar conveniently requires nothing except a $300 smartphone, $40 a month data plan, synchronization software, cable, software updates, passwords, skill with hunt and pet typing, and the ego to feel superior simply because you're using a computer rather than paper. As you can surmise from my thinly veiled value judgments, my calendar is completely electronic. It's with me whether I'm on my Mac, my iPhone, or my iPod. My calendar shares easily with my assistant, and now either of us can accidentally delete or move appointments without consulting the other. Tip number 3, back up your calendar. One of the other big features of an electronic calendar is that it exists in multiple places. With a paper calendar, if I lose it, I'm toast. But electronic calendars can be backed up. If your calendar lives on a server somewhere, like Microsoft Exchange, Apple Calendar, or Google Calendar, spend 15 minutes browsing the web to find out how to back it up, and then do so regularly. Even though it's 2012 and the consumer computing industry is 40 years old, backing up is still difficult, cumbersome, and obnoxious. Time Machine on the Mac is the closest thing I've seen to a user-friendly backup program, but it isn't fully integrated into all the Mac applications like the Calendar program. Also see my episode, How to Back Up Your Computer Data. There is a link in this episode's transcript. If you have a paper calendar and a data-enabled cell phone, you can still back up your calendar. Use your smartphone camera to take a snapshot of your paper calendar each day and email it to yourself or to a data archiving program like Evernote. You can also use this technique to send your assistant a copy of your paper calendar if you both keep separate copies of the calendar. Tip number 4, choose a time frame carefully. Your calendar time frame matters. My old Palm Pilot showed me my schedule one day at a time. My pal Bernice would say, "Are you free Saturday the 31st of February to come to my wedding?" I'd look, see nothing, and add the wedding to my calendar. Soon, my life was unbalanced chaos. But why? What Data Glance didn't show me is that the evening before the wedding, I was returning home from a client workshop at 11 p.m. And the next morning, I was due to get up at 4 a.m. for my first dawn birdwatching expedition. It was also my last. I mean, come on. 4 a.m., dawn, birdwatching? Week at a glance and month at a glance views didn't help because the screen on the Palm Pilot was too small to show any appointment details on the surrounding days. But today's screens have enough resolution that even on my iPhone 4S using the program WeekCal, I can see a week at a glance with enough detail to make sure that I'm not overscheduling myself. Try viewing your schedule a week or a month at a time. If that works better for you, make sure your electronic or paper calendar gives you a way to see the proper overview time frame easily. Tip number 5 is to use multiple calendars. Electronic calendars all let you create multiple calendars and then see them displayed together. I have a home calendar and a work calendar. They display together and they give me a great overview of my total time commitments. I can turn them off or on individually if I need to focus on just one of those categories. And tip number 6 is to create a plan calendar. I also have a calendar called Plan. When there's an event I might attend or if I'm going back and forth with someone scheduling an appointment, I put those in my Plan calendar. The Plan calendar is in a lighter color, so it looks tentative on my schedule. When a plan becomes real, I just transfer the appointment to my home or my work calendar. Tip number 7 is to use your calendar notes field. Keep all the information you'll need for a calendar event in the notes field of that event. If you use a paper calendar, jot down the information directly in the calendar if there's room, or add it in with a sticky note if necessary. When I have a conference call scheduled, I put the dial-in information in the notes field. When there's a meeting, the other person's phone number and cell number go in the notes field. If the event is a plane, train, or bus, the notes field is perfect for reservation information, gate numbers, and so on and so forth. Properly using a calendar can help you make it to all of your meetings with time to spare. Hooray for meetings! Make sure you have a single master calendar to avoid confusion. Back it up regularly, whether it's paper or electronic. And if you have an electronic system, have a separate plan calendar to make it easy to track tentative appointments. Finally, keep specific notes for every event right in your calendar so when the time is right, you're ready to go. I help people make the best use of their time to accomplish their goals by aligning their calendar with their priorities, setting boundaries, and making sure they make regular progress. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com. That's SteverRobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.